Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, and today I will be reviewing the Transart Mighty Guardian Metal Jungle. And as you can see, this is Optimus. And this is the box, lovely artwork of Optimus, or Mighty Guardian, ages 16 and up. Inside the box, got the Matrix. On the back of the box, have dead Optimus Prime in the Ark. Reminiscent to the show how he got to become Optimus by having his spark or matrix. It was his spark. Some people said it's a matrix, but when they made the show, they didn't understand exactly what the matrix was supposed to be. Anyway, that's about it for the packaging. Alright, so here we have him out of the packaging. Obviously, he does not come with this gun. Well, not so obviously, but he doesn't come with any guns, except for what's built in. This is from an upgrade kit for Power the Prime's Optimus, and I thought he should have a gun, because he came with two, and the original toy way back when only came with one, so I was saying, if I split them up, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Anywho, here we are, and let's take a nice close-up of his noggin. As you can see, it is very reminiscent of the cartoon. Got blue chrome for the face, silver, and orange. He has a lot of colors that shouldn't work together, but they do. And that's about it. I mean, as you can see, he has a lot of chrome. Gotta be careful with this guy. And one thing that's really cool, he came with white gloves to prevent you from damaging the chrome finish or getting fingerprints all over it. And there is a little bit of a reddish tinge to the gloves now after handling them, so I have a feeling some of the chrome might be rubbing off just ever so slightly. Maybe a little excess is what I'm hoping, not that it's starting to break down, as I just got him, so that would be kind of sad. Anyway, let's pan up to see his whole shoulders. Yep, okay. And then let's take a look at the back. Very nicely detailed, very shiny. I quite like this. I mean, I like shiny things, so anyway. Okay, so the arms are on a ratchet. They do a full 360. You can go out that far. If you move it up, you can get a little bit more, but then he's hitting his head. Got that much bend at the elbow, have bicep swivel, and the gun fell off. And then the wrist also has a swivel, can bend like that, and all the finger joints are individually articulated and on ball joints. So that's about it for that. The thumb does rotate on a pivot. It is positioned in the center so that you can flip it around for whatever mode you're putting it in, and you can get quite a bit of posability because they are, like I said, they are on ball joints, and you can splay the fingers out fairly well. So that's about it for the arms. Let's hit that back. And then he does have a waist swivel. He can do an ab crunch. Let's collapse that back down. Legs can go forward that far, the back that far. You can do the full splits, thigh swivel, a little over 90-degree bend at the knee. Feet can move on a ratchet, pretty tight ratchet. And he does have ankle tiltage, and the toes can move up and down. So that's about it for articulation. Alright, first up, here we have his collector's card, BWM05 Mighty Guardian. And on the back, here we have his tech specs, firepower, strength, speed, and intelligence. If you like collector's cards, which I do very much. So here we have alternate face for gorilla mode. That is the face that he comes with. It's a toy accurate, or more toy accurate face. Be careful with the eyes. One of them fell off on mine. I thought it was missing, completely missing. It turns out it fell off somewhere in the figure, somewhere in shipment. And then he has two alternate head crown things. This one appears to be identical to the one currently on him, And then this one might be very hard to notice, but the front of the crown appears to be just slightly different shaped. And then he does have two other faces. He does have a kind of a goofy grin smiley face. I think that might be when he was possessed. I'm not sure. And then a somewhat angry, fierce face. And then, as you can see, he comes with a stand, which I'll show off in his flight mode. And for comparison, here we have him with Power of the Primes, Optimal Optimus, not the base model. This is with a DX something rather upgrade kit, which came with two guns. Didn't come with the upgrade shoulder pads, didn't get that upgrade kit, but came with that swords for Optimus Primal and bigger wings. Whoops. And knocked the gun out of his hand. The tires, and then the wheel, which I don't have on him currently, for the front wheel for the car land mode. And that's about it for that. One more thing for robot mode, there's a gimmick that I forgot to show off. You just pull this down just a little bit so you can get some clearance. You press the button back here, and that springs out his shoulder mounted guns, and then you can push this back in. Granted, it'll push this whole thing up just a little bit, but rather than have this hanging down over his crotch, just lift that up a little bit, and it looks pretty cool. There is a light in here that you can turn on by screwing all the way in, and oh wow, it's actually quite bright. I guess the battery didn't go dead, because last time when I tried this, maybe the contact just wasn't very good. Anyway, but as you can see, it is bright and glowy, so that looks pretty cool. So you just turn it off by unscrewing it a bit. Okay, it's the time that we've been waiting for. Time to get him transformed into his first of his three alt modes, and I'll go ahead and do Gorilla first. Alright, so first thing you want to do is to go ahead and, well, get this pushed down just a little bit. Push his guns in, and then pull this out, pull this up, come on, and then you're going to want to pull that apart, and if you're wondering how you take the crown off, that's how you take it off. You just pull it off. It's not in there too good, just on the front, and then of course then you just pull off the face and swap the face out. Alright, so as I was saying, you pull this up, let's get that set down, and you just get this to clip into here like that, and it should be lined up. Then rotate his face around and just make sure that that doesn't fall off. I'm very tempted to glue it on, but I really don't want to. But yeah, close that up. Then you're going to rotate his waist around. Hello, there's the gorilla head with the cartoon accurate face, if you want to take a look at that. And then, let's see, you just want to get this rotated around right here, like that, and then just collapse this down. Now, this can be a little bit tricky because well, the biggest problem with this guy is that he doesn't actually come with an instruction booklet, so you kind of have to go based off of what you can find online and their promotional video that they had in a QR code that was included on a cleaning cloth that they also sent with him for cleaning the chrome. But there are 2 QR codes, and if you want to, you can check them out yourself. Yeah, I know they're upside down, so I guess flip that up. Okay, anyway, back to transformation. Okay, yeah, so this is pretty much how you get the back transformed. This kind of really does have kind of a big backpack. And, okay, never mind. I think it's actually more like this. There we are. Okay, so you get down like this. There we are. So it doesn't stick up quite so much. There we have the head. Okay, and then you want to untab this. And then you want to rotate this down. And then tab it in up here. There's another slot up there. Tab that in. Rotate his arms around. Rotate at the bicep. And then you're going to want to rotate the wrist around. And then flip the thumb around. And there we have one gorilla hand complete. It's just the same hand, just in gorilla configuration. Another side, just the same. And of course, you can flip that wing back, facing the other direction. Rotate down. Tab into place. Rotate around. Flip back. Rotate at the bicep. Rotate at the wrist. And then flip thumb up and position the hands, fingers, however you feel most comfortable having them. And then make sure everything's all situated. Looks like this came up a little bit, but that's fine. And then last thing you really want to do to get them into gorilla mode is to, because this is on a double hinge, is just get that down like so. And there he has even stumpier, shorter legs. And like I said, do the same on this side. Just pivot and there. Oop. And there we are. There we have gorilla legs. And then I know that said that the legs were the last thing. The last thing that you actually transform normally. The rest is more of a parts forming thing. And I know a lot of people don't like the word parts forming, but you just pop these off from here, hopefully without damaging anything. There, pop it off. And I just wiggle that out. And one thing that you can do with these is form kind of like a shield base thing that you can set up. I guess use as a shield for, I guess, smaller characters, possibly. Let's see, tilt the camera down. And you just do that with both of them, and you can set them up, I guess, for some cover. And I think the original toy did that, but I'm not certain, so I guess don't quote me on that. And so to get this onto his forearms, which they usually were in gorilla mode, you just, okay, let's get a better angle on this. But see this right here, this plugs into right there, just slides in. It doesn't actually secure it into place, but when you collapse this down, this right here, that pegs into that hole. And then same on the other side, just clip that in. Alright, so here we have him in his gorilla mode. He actually looks pretty good, and he can actually fit on the whole screen. How you have his shoulders positioned are up to you, and the reason why you move these down here says it just so it's not so tall on the arms, and it gives his forearms a little extra bulk, and that's how he looked in the show. Of course, you can leave it like this for normal robot mode if you like, but it won't stick up as far, and it won't be as accurate to the show. But if you don't want to mess around with just moving those up and down, that could work well for you. And for comparison, here we have him with Power the Prime's Optimal Optimus in his gorilla mode. They both look pretty cool, but he does have a little bit more flexibility with him being able to stand up, because his backpack really gets in the way. I mean, you could remove it and have him use this like a surfboard, but then he has a big old hollow chunk in the back of his back. But yeah, still was pretty cool, but he definitely does it much better. Alright, so let's go ahead and get him into his flight mode. So, first thing you're going to want to do is get this up and pull this down. Come on, focus on the right spots. Rotate around, and then you're going to want to rotate this around yet again, like that. And then you can rotate the gorilla head around. You can have that up, and then you just collapse this down. And if you look closely in here, that slot, that tabs into that slot right up there, and you just pull it down, and it should tab right into place like that, and you should hear a click, and that should secure it in place like that. And there you have the cockpit. And next thing you want to do is flip his toes in like that, straighten out his legs, clip them together with that big obvious clip like that, get it all lined up. And what can be a little bit problematic is his hip or ab crunch really kind of weighs him down. So let's go ahead and just stand him up for a little bit right there. And then the next thing to do, rotate his arms up, flip this out, rotate that around, rotate his arm like that to where, there we are, to where this is facing up so that the whole shielded part is visible. And then you want to rotate his hand to where he's like doing the Superman pose. That's pretty much what you're doing. You're making him do the Superman pose. Flip that around and rotate. Rotate around. Close that back up. Pop back down. Close back up. Rotate. Close up. You get the thumb down. Close up. However you see fit. That's one downside to hands like that, is that they can sometimes be tricky to get exactly where you want them. And then you can collapse that down, or you can pull it out, however you think looks best. Close up. And here we have him in his flight mode, and that might also want to pop out. Like, he doesn't hold together super well, but he does look fairly cool. I think it looks better if you have this extended out a little bit. You can have it extended out all the way, which I think looks a little so big, so hard to see on camera, all of it on camera. But it does look a little goofier if it is all the way out, so just maybe have like a couple clicks out instead, and just have that straightened out. And then to make it look a little more militaristic, you can pop that out. But as you can see, it's kind of awkward, just like the robot laying down mostly. Let's get that down so we can take a better look and move the camera back. So this is his flight mode, and I'll go ahead and show him off on the stand. Alright, based on how this looks on the stand, be very careful. Yeah, I'm probably not going to use the stand because it's so wobbly, and I have a feeling something's going to break, and I don't know. And I'd rather it be the stand that breaks, but if it's the figure that breaks, well, I'd be devastated. So, if I do display him in his flight mode, it'll probably be just like this on the safety of the desktop or shelf or wherever I decide to display him. And I think I might have been mistransformed because as I was trying to put him on the stand, the legs collapsed even further. So this might be how it's supposed to be. Maybe this is supposed to be more for the vehicle or land vehicle mode. So I really don't know because there's not any clear instructions, but that is one way you could have it transformed if you want to do it. Or you can have it extended out. But one thing I did notice about having it like this is that you don't have to worry about as much about the ab crunch problem. And then one thing about the cockpit, it does open up. Maybe you could see a little figure in there, but I don't know for certain, but you could probably fit something in there. So yeah, that's about it for this vehicle mode. And we'll go ahead and bring in Power of the Primes, Optimus. There he is. Yeah, let's get them together a little bit closer. And here you can see the size difference. Wings much larger on this guy, and to be fair, these wings are much larger than the ones that came standard on him. So you can see the difference there. Of course, visible Optimus Primal on the back, pretty much. So definitely an improvement with him. I mean, he'll always have a soft place in my heart, but yeah, that's about it for that. Now, let's go ahead and get him into his final mode. To get him into his final mode, I mean, the guns optionally can stay there for now. I guess we can move these up and out of the way just so that they aren't sticking everything. Okay, so you're going to want to pull this up and out, and you're going to want to pop this open, pop it open, pull up here. You're going to want to flip out the tire, and then you're going to get his head flipped a little round like that, and then you're going to get this down here, and pretty much based on how the joints are, just put it as far as the joints will go, and then you just tab these back into place. If they rotate out, just rotate them back, tab back in, and then you pull this down and tab this back into place as we did to get him into his jet mode. Okay, come on. There we are. Tab in. We got that done, and there we have the front of the weird trike bike vehicle thing he becomes. And then let's move on to the back end. You just want to flip these down, and you'll see down here there is a little place where this tabs in. Just tabs in like that. And then on the other side, do the same. Flip it, clip it in place. Now with the feet, it's probably a good idea. You don't have to, obviously, but it makes sense to me. Just flip them all the way in like that. The wings, which can just, I guess, rotate down a little bit, get them out of the way a little bit more. And then, let's see. And then adjust, I guess, the hips as needed, and then the waist. Let's see, let's get that down for right now. Oh boy. Rotate and not mess up the background. Then get this, there we are, angled up a little bit better. And then you want to just get these angled, and if you look, okay, let's see, you're going to actually rotate his arms like this, because this is going to tab into or plug into this hole up here, not this one. This one I think is just more for the tire to spin because it is not on this side, so it's up there. And you may need to finagle the arms a little bit just to get it into the right position so the tire can spin. Alright, enough about all that fussing. Okay, so I wasn't able to get on camera because it's fighting me, but as you can see, it is now plugged into place on the sides of the tire. I did have to mess with the hands to get them to where they weren't interfering with the spinning of it. But yeah, this is pretty much it. We got him into his vehicle mode, his land vehicle mode, and it does roll decently well, and it's all rubber tires, so that's pretty cool. And I do quite like it. This other reviewer that I looked at, they said that this is their least favorite alt mode. I think, in my opinion, I like it a little bit more than the plain mode, but I think that's just because it holds together a little bit better than the other one. So let's go ahead and bring in Power of the Primes, Optimal Optimus, yet again. And there we have him, side by side. He's more streamlined looking and doesn't look as chunky as this guy. But I do like the chunkiness of this guy. And, oh yeah, I forgot to put these back on. But here we have him with his guns. There we are. And that's about it for that. that's about it for Transart Mighty Guardian. All in all, a really good update to the character and the toy. Absolutely love it. He is a bit top heavy, so there's some downsides to it and all the chrome and all that. But I will say this: I'm so satisfied that I'm probably going to end up parting with Power of the Primes Optimal Optimus just because of storage. You know how it is if you're a collector. Storage is always an issue. But yeah, that's about it. If you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.